Hello, everybody. Welcome to 10 Minutes with Conscious Discipline. We are going to talk about attention-seeking behaviors today, and I'm going to do my best to actually keep this within 10 minutes. So, let's go over our brain states real quick, because when we have a child in our classroom, or many children in our classroom, that have behaviors that we are referring to as attention seeking, when that happens, it means that the child is in their survival or emotional state. There are three brain states: survival, emotional, and executive state. The survival state is our lowest brain state. It's our most basic one. It's the one that keeps us safe in emergencies. It's our fight, flight, or freeze response. In your classroom, it looks like throwing chairs, hurting other kids, no eye contact, tense body. They don't want touch. They don't want comfort. They don't want your help. There's little to no words coming out. It might be a cry or a scream, but in survival state, they don't feel safe. And they're asking you, as their caregiver, am I safe? In their emotional state, and this is triggered when life isn't going our way. This is where they're asking, am I loved? And it looks like name calling and whining and saying no and blaming and judging, ignoring, back talk, tattling, sass. And by the way, when we have these kiddos in our classroom, this emotional state is often where we are also spending our time. We're feeling emotional because it's triggered when things aren't going our way. It's only in our executive state that we're calm and alert and composed. And it doesn't mean when we're in our, when we're in our executive state that life is perfect. It just means I can take a couple breaths and figure out what my next step is. I have access to all the tools and information that I've been given. It's problem solving and it's learning. And this is the only spot where our kids can listen to us, where they can learn what we want them to do next time someone takes a toy from them, or what they can do next time they're upset. So this is where we need them to be. When a child is in their survival state, they're asking, am I safe? When we're in our survival state, all we have to offer is I will threaten you and I will hurt you. And in homes, in some homes, there is very serious threat. And there is very serious hurt. In our classrooms, we don't think we threaten or hurt the kids, but we sure do, right? This is when we're saying, if you don't pick those up, you're not going to the gym. I'm going to have to tell your mom. I'm going to write a report. I'm going to call your mom. What do you think mom's going to feel like when she comes and picks you up? I'm going to call the director. You're going to have to leave the room. All of these things are threat. Right? All of these things are hurt. When we withhold our attention, right? Because we think attention-seeking behaviors, we need to stop paying attention to them. We are hurting, right? And we're abandoning. So in our emotional state, all we have to offer is blame and abandon, right? So this is turning around and walking away without a word, ignoring the behavior. This is, I'm leaving, bye, and going to the door so they can't see you, so they think that you've completely left them, or blaming them for your state. We get worked up and then we blame the kid because it feels like, well, it's their behavior that got me upset in the first place, right? So look what you made me do. When the kids are in these states and they're asking, am I safe? Am I loved? And we're answering no, or they don't know what our answer is, they're going to make us tell them through attention-seeking behaviors. So they're saying, am I safe and am I loved? And if we're walking away and ignoring it, they're saying no. No, we're saying no. We're saying no. No, you're not safe. And no, you're not loved. Even if that's not our intention, that's what we're doing. And so if they can't get the answer from us, they're going to make you tell them. They're going to pick up a chair and throw it to say, am I safe? And you're going to walk away. They don't get their answer. They're going to throw it again, right? The more you ignore them, the more you tell them, no, you are not safe. And then we get stuck in this cycle of chaos in our classrooms and attention-seeking behaviors, right? We got the attention-seeking behavior, and then we ignore it, and the behavior continues, and we ignore it, and we get worked up, and everybody is trapped in this terrible cycle of behaviors and bad feelings. So how do we break the cycle? We flip our internal script that's always told us a bad behavior is attention seeking, and to make it stop, you ignore it. And it's really not your fault that this script is inside you, because it's the only tool we've ever had before now. It's the only thing, that's what we learn in school. It's what the behavior specialists that come in to work with these kids, it's what they tell us to do. It's the only tool anybody has until now, right? Bad behavior is attention seeking, so ignore it and they'll stop. We need to flip the script, because does it work? If it did, we'd ignore it, and in a while it would stop. No, it doesn't work. It never works. If it worked, you'd ignore it a couple times and you wouldn't be watching this video, because you wouldn't have any attention-seeking behaviors in your classroom. So the same proven scientific research-backed information that teaches us that about the brain states also teaches us this: connection creates willingness. The willingness to behave comes from the quality of the relationship. That's not an opinion, that is a fact. The willingness to behave comes from the quality of the relationship. As a grown-up, do you like to do nice things for people that you have a terrible relationship with? Of course you don't. You might do it anyway if it's, someone you rely on for a paycheck, but you don't do it willingly. Willingness is created through connection, and it comes from the quality of the relationship. So we talk about connection, and if you've heard about connection through conscious discipline and I love you rituals, understand that I love you rituals and connection only works with someone that they have a caring relationship with. You have to build the connection. If you don't like the kid, but you do some connecting ritual with it, it doesn't work. They know you don't like them. They can feel it. So take a deep breath here, because this is going to be hard to swallow. Here's how we're going to flip the script, okay? This is a lot to bite off, and it's a lot to chew, and this is going to be hard to swallow. Attention-seeking behaviors are connection-seeking behaviors. They are looking for connection, not attention. It's one word that you need to flip in your brain, in that internal CD-ROM that you need to change. Because if behaviors are connection seeking and we ignore them, refusing connection and attention, then what happens? The behavior never stops. And that's what we're doing right now. When you're looking at it as attention seeking and ignoring it, the behavior never stops. It doesn't work. If you see it as connection seeking and ignore the connection and attention, the behavior never stops. So think about it like this. If you want your partner to pay attention to you, your parent, your partner, your best friend, and they won't provide it, you'll fight. You'll get into a fight with them, right? Or maybe you won't verbally fight, but you'll get mad and turn away, like this girl is doing in this picture, right? Survival state, shut down. Emotional state, fight. So you keep fighting or shutting down because they still won't give you the attention. Or finally, maybe you just give up, because the more they ignore you, the more you learn you can't count on them, and you shut down completely or break off the relationship. If behaviors are connection seeking and we provide the connection, we give it, then what happens? The behaviors lessen and they eventually stop. They get less frequent and they eventually stop. It's not going to happen right away, but they will lessen and eventually stop when you keep giving it. So if you want your partner, parent, best friend to pay attention to you and they do it, what do you have to fight for? The more they meet the need without you fighting for it, the more you'll trust you'll get it, so you don't need to fight anymore. If you walk into the room and your partner puts their phone down and smiles and looks right at you and makes eye contact and gives you and greets you, there's nothing to fight for. It just stops. You just move on. When you decide to see the children in your care that you care for, that you care about, as connection seeking instead of attention seeking, then things start to change. They'll change for you and they'll change for them. And the biggest part right here is deciding. Nobody can make you believe this. You have to make the decision for yourself. You might make a decision that you want to continue seeing it as attention seeking. But understand that when you make that choice, nothing changes. Nothing changes for you. Nothing changes for them. The extra important part to remember right here and now is that the kids that are connection seeking are hurting. They're doing it because of trauma or a need not being met. They need your help. They're not doing it because it's fun. They're not doing it because it feels great. You need to remember as the adult that the behavior is happening in front of you, not to you. It feels personal, but it's not. They're little. Even if they're school agers, they are not coming with an agenda to make your life miserable. And I would be willing to say too, even if it's a teenager, maybe they are plotting it out, but it's because the relationship that you have with them is so poor and there is no connection. Okay? So stop taking it so personally. It'll make things easier on you, so much easier. So you're going to go to work tomorrow, and so what? You're just going to hug every kid who acts bananas and they'll stop? No, no, they're not going to stop the moment that you throw a chair and you give them a hug. It's not going to stop, but it's going to feel good for both of you, because what is being upset doing for you? What is ignoring them doing for you? Does it feel good? No, it doesn't feel good. It feels terrible. They feel terrible when they throw the chair to get connection from you, and you feel terrible walking away and being mad and ignoring them. Doesn't feel good, so stop, right? And with time, as you meet the need, there's no need for attention-seeking behaviors, or what we call attention-seeking, right? They don't need to do it anymore. When you give connection, provide connection, they don't need to act out to get it. So child throws chairs for connection, you provide connection, they throw a chair, you connect, they throw a chair, you connect, throw, connect, connect, connect. They stop throwing because the need is met. There's no more need for the behavior, right? It's not going to stop just by giving them a hug every time they throw the chair. That's going to help. But when you start connecting before they get the opportunity to throw the chair, that's when the magic starts. That's when things start to take a big turn, because they don't need to do it to get the connection anymore, right? Because here's your other option. Child throws a chair for attention, you ignore it. They throw a chair, you ignore, throw a chair, ignore, throw, ignore, throw, ignore. It never stops. They never stop throwing because the need is never met. And if it does eventually work, it's because we have taught a child not to trust us, and that if they don't act the way that we want, we don't love them. That's never the thought in our brain, right? That's not our intention. But if their behavior is saying, am I safe and am I loved? And we're turning around and walking away and ignoring them when they're asking us that, we are answering the question. The answer is no. What if is your anxiety? So all these what if, well, what if I hug this kid that throws the chair and then the other kid's this? Like, all that what if is your anxiety. So stop yourself from asking that what if question, because what if it works, right? Do it. Deal with the challenges that come up when they come up. Because when we what if it, well, if I do this, then all the other kids in the class are going to throw a chair to get a connection, right? And that stops us from even trying. So what if it works? What if they don't all throw chairs for connection? What if you start giving them all connection and nobody needs to do anything to fight for it? So are you willing? Are you willing to flip that internal script from attention seeking to connection seeking? Are you willing to stop taking it personally, right? So remember this, Q-tip, quit taking it personally. Take a Q-tip, put it in your pocket, tape it to your cupboard, print a picture of it, put a box of Q-tips on your counter, whatever you need to do to remind yourself this behavior is happening in front of you, not to you. It's not about you. They need your help. No more attention seeking, only connection seeking.